Just imagine if you found a creature with magical abilities, but then some dangerous people started chasing you to get it. That's basically what happens to Elisa. At this moment, she's at home cooking dinner for her neighbor, Giles. Elisa can't speak, so she doesn't have many friends. Giles is one of the few people who understands her sign language. After spending some time with him, Elisa takes the bus to work. When she arrives at the lab, she meets up with Zelda, her closest friend. The two of them start their usual night shift, cleaning the lab rooms. That same day, the security head, Mr. Fleming, announces to the whole team that a new specimen is being brought into room T4. He says it will be the most valuable thing the lab has ever received. When a large, water-filled container is rolled in, Elisa becomes curious. She wants to know what's inside. She steps closer to take a look. Suddenly, the creature inside starts struggling, trying to get out. The team quickly moves the container into a compressor room. The next morning, Elisa heads back home. Giles is waiting outside so they can walk to a nearby bakery for breakfast together. Her daily life is usually simple and quiet, except that sometimes strange things happen at work. One night, while Elisa and Zelda are cleaning, they hear a gunshot. Strickland walks out of one of the labs, and Elisa notices that his hands are covered in blood. She steps back in shock as the medical team rushes in to help. Later, while they're sitting in the cafeteria, Mr. Fleming calls them back to that same lab. Inside, there's blood all over the floor. Neither of them understands what happened. While cleaning, Elisa finds a man's severed fingers on the ground. She quietly places them into a paper envelope. Zelda panics and runs out to get help. Left alone, Elisa walks over to the container and sees that the strange creature inside is injured. The next morning, Elisa goes to Giles's apartment again. They eat breakfast together while watching TV. After finishing his coffee, Giles grabs one of his new paintings and heads out. As he leaves, he tells Elisa that if the painting sells, he'll bring her a nice gift. The following night, Elisa sneaks into the lab where the mysterious creature is being kept. Now it's chained inside a large tank. She sits beside the tank and offers it a hard-boiled egg to eat. But the creature doesn't trust humans. It tries to scare Elisa away. When Elisa steps back, it grabs the egg and sinks down to the bottom of the tank. A little later, Strickland calls Elisa and Zelda into his office. He thanks them for finding his missing fingers. After about 3 hours, his fingers are reattached, but even he isn't sure if his hand will ever work the same again. That's when he notices the scar on Elisa's neck that looks like claw marks. Zelda explains that she's had that mark since childhood. Then Strickland gets to the point. Starting now, Elisa and Zelda are responsible for cleaning the creature's room. As soon as they're done, they must leave immediately because the creature is considered very dangerous. Strickland explains that he found it near a river in South America. Being taken far from its natural home has made it aggressive and angry. He says that tribes in the Amazon worship creatures like this as river gods, but in his opinion, it's just a rare animal species, nothing more. Elisa quietly decides that she wants to get closer to it. The next day, she brings another hard-boiled egg. She plays soft music and sits near the tank eating her sandwich. Slowly, the creature begins coming closer to her. Over time, she earns its trust. After a few weeks, they form a real bond. Using sign language, Elisa starts teaching it about how humans live. One day, while they're cleaning, Dr. Robert notices how close Elisa and the creature have become. He's surprised. He realizes the creature can actually communicate with humans. Robert quickly goes to see Muriel Kove, who is secretly a Russian agent passing information back to his government. He tells him they need to take control of the creature as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Elisa sneaks into the lab again. This time, she finds the creature badly injured. She tries to free it, but drops the egg when she hears footsteps. She quickly hides. A moment later, Strickland walks in holding an electric shock device. He deliberately provokes the creature, and when it reacts, he shocks it. Elisa can barely hearing her friend in pain. Then Strickland notices the egg on the floor and realizes someone has been feeding it. Just then, General Hoyt walks in. Seeing the bloody scene, he demands to know what's going on. Strickland says he was trying to control the creature. Dr. Robert explained that the creature can breathe in 2 different ways, which means it can survive both on land and in water. From a scientific point of view, that makes it extremely important, and he believes it should be protected. When they see how badly it's hurt, Strickland is ordered to put it back in the water right away. But Strickland wants to cut it open to see how it works inside. Before he can do that, the creature passes out, and Robert orders the team to return it to the tank so it can recover. Worried about the creature's condition, Robert tries to convince General Hoyt that killing it or cutting it open would be wrong. The general responds calmly that he'll do whatever he thinks is necessary. Realizing how serious things are, Elisa follows Robert to find out what's going to happen next. That's when she learns the creature's life is truly in danger.
When she gets home, she tells Giles everything. She wants his help to break the creature out. Giles refuses at first. He tells her she's crazy. If she gets caught, she'll go straight to jail. But Elisa doesn't back down. Seeing how much she cares, Giles eventually gives in. He agrees to help even though he knows it could cost him his life. After spending the whole day unsuccessfully trying to sell his paintings, Giles goes home and realizes that the one steady thing in his life has been Elisa's friendship. He feels like he doesn't have much left to lose, so he decides to stand by her. Meanwhile, Robert, who is secretly working with the Russians, keeps an eye on what's happening at the lab. He tells Muriel Cove about the general's plan and says they need to save the creature that same night. Muriel warns him that it's risky and that they would need at least a week to prepare. The problem is that the creature is scheduled to be dissected the very next day. So the Russians come up with a plan to inject it with something lethal. They don't want the US military to study it and possibly gain an advantage. But Robert doesn't care about politics. He just wants to save the creature. The next day, as they prepared to remove it from the tank, Elisa puts her own plan into motion. Zelda starts to suspect something, and Strickland is watching her closely through the security cameras. To get Elisa into his office, Strickland purposely breaks a glass as an excuse to call her in. When she arrives, his behavior makes her uncomfortable. Even though he's married, he tells her he likes her. Feeling uneasy, Elisa quickly leaves. It's almost 5 o'clock, and Giles will soon be waiting in the service area with the car. While Elisa was adjusting the angles of the security cameras, Robert walked into Strickland's office and tried to convince him to postpone the operation planned for that day. During their conversation, Robert noticed that the camera angles were shifting. He kept Strickland distracted on purpose so Elisa's plan could continue. Wanting to confirm his suspicions, Robert went to the lab where the creature was being kept. He realized he was right. Elisa was getting ready to set it free. Instead of calling security, Robert quietly handed her the keys so she could escape through the service tunnel. When Zelda noticed that Elisa hadn't shown up even after her shift ended, she got worried. To avoid raising suspicion, Zelda clocked Elisa out herself. With Robert's help, Elisa hid the creature under a pile of warm laundry carts. Before leaving, Robert gave her simple instructions about cleaning the water and feeding it properly so she could take care of it at home.
Right after that, Robert switched on a device that caused a power outage in the entire building. He warned Eliza that she had only 10 minutes to get out. At the same time, Strickland saw on the security monitor that an unfamiliar vehicle was trying to enter the building, and he rushed to check it out. As Eliza moved through the service tunnel, she ran into Zelda. Zelda had figured out what was going on. At first, she tried to stop her, but when the lights went out and everything went dark, she understood the situation and decided to help her friend. There was no turning back now. Meanwhile, a guard caught Giles, but Robert injected the guard with a sedative and knocked him out. He told Giles that Eliza was waiting at the dock and that he needed to get there quickly. When Giles first saw the creature, he froze in fear, but after a moment, he realized it wasn't attacking him. He gathered his courage, helped it into the car, and drove off. Just then, Strickland showed up and started shooting at the car. Luckily, no one was hurt, and Giles managed to escape. Furious, Strickland returned to the lab and discovered the creature was gone. A short while later, Eliza arrived home. With Giles's help, she placed the creature in the bathtub. Following Robert's instructions, she added salt to the water so it could breathe properly. When the general found out the creature was missing, he gave Strickland a serious warning: find it immediately or face the consequences. The next morning, Eliza went to the canal that runs through the city and eventually connects to the ocean. She decided that on the 10th of the month, she would release the creature there.
The rainy season was coming, which would raise the water level and help it reach the sea more easily. The following day at work, Eliza saw that a large team had been assigned to search for the missing creature. Zelda was clearly nervous. Soon, both of them were called into Strickland's office for questioning. However, they avoided suspicion because their attendance had already been recorded before the incident. While Eliza was at work, Giles stayed home to keep an eye on the creature. He even started painting a detailed portrait of it. But when Giles dozed off, the creature quietly began exploring the apartment. The creature suddenly got scared when it saw the cat. When Giles woke up, he realized his cat had been killed. He was furious and started yelling at the creature. Frightened, the creature backed away, but in the chaos, it also attacked Giles and injured him.
When Elisa came home and saw Giles hurt, she was shaken. Giles told her he would be okay and said they needed to find the creature first before it caused more trouble. Elisa ran down to the movie theater below the apartment. Inside, she found the creature quietly watching the film on the screen. She gently convinced it to come back home with her. Once they returned, she showed it how to be gentle around Giles' other cats. She treated Giles' wounds, and the creature seemed to understand it had done something wrong. In its own way, it appeared to apologize. Giles told it he had already forgiven it. Then something unexpected happened. The creature used its strange abilities to heal Giles' wounds. The marks on its body began to glow, and Giles watched as his injuries closed up. In that moment, he understood why people in the Amazon once believed the creature was some kind of nature god. That night, the creature invited Elisa to sit with it by the bathtub. She hesitated at first, but then felt there was nothing wrong with being close to it. Over time, she had truly fallen in love. The next day at work, Zelda noticed Elisa looked unusually happy. She had a glow about her. When Elisa shared what had happened, Zelda was surprised by her story. That same morning, Muriel, Cove, and a security officer showed up at Robert's apartment. Robert immediately realized they were armed. As soon as they sat down, Cove bluntly asked what he had done with the creature's body after killing it. Robert lied and said he had studied the body. He quietly kept a knife nearby, just in case, but he didn't need to use it. Cove seemed satisfied and left. Later that evening, after having dinner with his family, Strickland sat alone in his car. He looked at his injured fingers, which still seemed lifeless and disconnected from his hand. He felt like they didn't belong to him anymore. Meanwhile, Elisa was at home with the creature. She decided to fill the entire bathroom with water so it would have more space, but the water started leaking through the ceiling below in the theater. The building manager found out and angrily knocked on the door. Giles tried to calm him down, saying he would take care of everything. When Giles finally got inside, he saw that Elisa and the creature were locked in the bathroom. As soon as the door opened, water flooded into the apartment. Giles saw Elisa holding the creature tightly. As the rainy season approached, Elisa knew she would have to release the creature soon. But as the days passed, it began to grow weaker. Its condition got worse, and Elisa became more worried. At the same time, the general, alarmed by the disappearance of such an unusual creature, called Strickland in again. In a firm tone, he told him if the creature wasn't found within 36 hours, he could forget about keeping his job. When the 10th finally arrived, Eliza felt sad knowing she would soon have to say goodbye. She dreamed about dancing with the creature in front of everyone, in a world where they wouldn't have to hide their relationship. But deep down, she knew that kind of life wasn't possible. That same night, Strickland waited outside Robert's apartment. He was sure Robert had helped with the escape. When Robert left his building, Strickland followed him. Suddenly, one of Muriel Cove's guards shot Robert. Strickland took the opportunity and shot the guard as well. He then grabbed the injured Robert and harshly demanded to know where the creature was. After being pressured for a while, Robert finally gave in and told him the truth, that a cleaning woman had taken it. As soon as he heard that, Strickland went straight to Zelda's house. She was cooking dinner for her husband when her boss suddenly showed up at the door. She was clearly nervous. Strickland started questioning her and demanding to know where the creature was. During the tense conversation, his injured finger started bleeding again, and he cried out in pain.
That only made Zelda more frightened. Seeing his wife scared, Zelda's husband stepped in. He admitted that he had overheard her talking on the phone with Eliza about some strange creature. Strickland thanked him for the information and immediately headed to Eliza's apartment. As soon as he left, Zelda got angry at her husband and quickly called Eliza to warn her. When Eliza realized she was in danger, she wasted no time. She grabbed the creature and left the apartment. Meanwhile, Strickland forced his way into Eliza's place. He searched every corner but couldn't find anything. Then he noticed a note written on the calendar. After reading it, he figured out where Eliza had taken the creature. At the river, Eliza was saying goodbye when Strickland showed up. Without hesitation, he shot the creature and then shot Eliza as well. Just then, Giles came up from behind and hit Strickland on the head with a wooden stick, knocking him down. Giles rushed to Eliza's side. At that moment, the glowing lines on the creature's body lit up again, and its wounds began to heal. The creature stood up, walked over to Strickland, and used its sharp claws to kill him. Soon after, Zelda arrived with the police because she had been worried about Eliza. Giles told the creature to take Eliza with him. Without waiting, the creature picked her up and jumped into the water. Underwater, it noticed the old scars on Eliza's neck. When it kissed her, something changed. The scars opened into gills, allowing her to breathe underwater. A moment later, Eliza opened her eyes. She realized she wasn't drowning. She could breathe. She was alive, now part of the water world. In the end, the two of them stayed together, choosing a life away from the human world. It was a love others might not understand, but for them, it was real. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.